Hello everyone, this is Top Dog Motors and my name is Kai and I'm going to run you through the MG3. I've actually had this car for a year and a half, so I know a thing or two about it by now. Good, the bad and the ugly. And if you don't go in the car fast enough after you've locked it, it will lock itself. Not a bad feature, I suppose. Now the MG3 has been around for a good while. It's had 3 different iterations, but all facelifts. So this was the most minor one, just to go with the new regulations that happened. So the LED front running lights, things like that. Stop start as well, which this one is actually just called the MG3 Stop Start, which I believe was 2016, but this is a 2017 model. Now this car cost me on a PCP £88 a month and was about £4,500. So I think in terms of bargains, the MG lineup in general is just on there, especially if you get one second hand. I do apologise for how dirty the car is looking. I'd intended to do this much sooner, but unfortunately then we had very dirty rain and I haven't really had the time to go and wash it, so this is a very lived in car. Now I do think the MG3 lineup, especially the newer facelift, actually looks pretty damn good. It's shaped a bit like a old Fiat Punto, but in that way it does give you quite a lot of half decent space. MG, as you may know, was bought out by SAIC, Shanghai Automotive. So this is essentially a Chinese car, but designed in Britain, at the very least. So usually that would have many people probably quite concerned, but really I think nowadays especially, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Right, well with that, let's have a look at its little bits and bobs. So let's first look in the boot. I will unlock the car again. The boot is a fairly generous size. I managed to use fair bit of it before. I've actually gone on a small distance, can get a few big bags in there, and it's more than big enough for a shop. Though when I got it, this had lost its strings, God knows how, so I have no idea what it looks like beforehand, but it's a pretty usable and spacious boot. In the back is also very lived in. I do apologise, but you can get rubbish bags behind the chair, so that's pretty decent. Oh, so knee room is pretty snug. I'm about 5'9". Headroom is pretty decent, however. Now I have had 3 women across here somehow, and they described it as very snug. So it is possible, but probably not for a long journey at all. And then there's the front. So the MGs usually come with quite a bit of kit at standard, but the facelift really comes with a lot more modern fixtures. So generally, the build quality I've noticed is quite good. I don't really have many squeaks, rattles coming from anywhere. Mainly just suspension, but I don't know if that's my weight. And only when the handbrake's on, so it's probably just more the handbrake that's squeaking. The glove box is fairly good size. See, I've stuffed that quite nicely. You got electric windows front and back in this model. I think mine is the mid-trim at the time, which was Freeform Sport. But you get full air conditioning, not climate control, which I don't think any of them do, but I don't know. Fan speed, temperature and all that. You do have Bluetooth connectivity, DAB radio. It's quite a nice system. Even the sound is actually half decent. In this bread bin, you have your USB and you have your aux. And that's where a sat-nav would go if it has it, but I've rarely ever seen one unless someone's retro-modded it afterwards. You get a ton of cruise control, which I quite like this cruise control system because it comes up with the speed on the bottom, and you can change your tracks and everything if you've connected via Bluetooth, which with the latest phones without their aux ports is something you gotta do. And there's your stop button, so you can turn it off, and everything else is manually operated, but it's a livable spec and probably good first time car, especially with the price I mentioned before. I don't think you can go too wrong. However, with the cheaper price, I think comes with a few caveats in terms of issues that may crop up in ownership. At least they have to me recently, which is why this car is actually going this weekend. And yeah. And as you may notice, there seems to be a pill thing going on with this car. There's pills everywhere. I don't know whether they wanted to make a little Easter egg hunt mini game, but when or if you get an MG3, just go hunting for them, see how many you can find. Don't forget the key too. Alright, let's take this for a drive and I'll tell you what it's like to live with as well. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I've actually tried to record this with you so many times, and all the time I felt like it was stupid. My hair was always awful, and just I forget little other details, but we'll see how this one goes. I'm going to use it no matter what, because obviously, as I mentioned earlier, this car is going at the end of the week, because of few issues that have cropped up, as well as it's on PCP, so it's what you can do. So what's this car actually like to drive? Do you know what? It actually drives like an MG should. Its chassis and just handling is really good. You can have quite a lot of fun with this car. It's got a 1.5 naturally aspirated engine, has about 108 horsepower and about equal torque. So I'd probably say it's quite sprightly if you have a model that hasn't been running. So I think they actually limit the performance until 3,000 miles has been hit for the engine's health. And after that, this has done 27,000 miles and it's quite sprightly. Sometimes it's surprised me, but because it's not too powerful, whatever, on British B roads you can have a real blast with it, and it does love being revved. You can just really chuck it around. General comfort isn't actually too bad. It has McPherson struts at the front, but a torsion beam at the back, so it's more your rear passengers that won't be as comfortable, especially when hitting bumps, and it does actually send that through the entire car, so even your front passengers do feel it, especially on a speed bump. It just throws your ass right into the air, which is yeah, not the most fun thing, but I know your kids might enjoy getting thrown into the air like that, if you're racing over bumps, that is, because it wouldn't happen if you're doing it like you should, gently, to not damage your suspension. What else? The tax is £155 a year, so not too bad. That equates to about £12 a month, give or take. The miles to the gallon. I average 38, and my driving is quite mixed, and I live basically on a giant hill, so I don't use a lot of fuel at all going to work, but when coming back from work it really takes a hit. But 38 miles to the gallon isn't too bad. If you just go around town, then that's probably what you'd get. And motorways, I've managed to get an average reading of about between 50 and 60, so it isn't too bad. It's definitely quite an old school engine, this, so from what I've heard, it is quite easy to work on. So what's been my problems? What should you look out for? Well, I would say join the MG3 Facebook group, and in fact whatever car you have, it's probably good to join a group, because then you're full of know-it-alls, but sometimes a know-it-all will actually know something. I've had a few good tips from this, so it is worth it just to get sort of ideas and rough estimates of what, you know, you could try and haggle for. So I haven't had this problem, but the door seals, they tend to go apparently, and leak in some water, but that's a cheap and easy fix apparently. The major one, which has now affected me, which is the main reason why financially it works a bit better to get rid of this car and swap it, is the gearbox. Well, not the gearbox, the clutch. Clutch seems to be a bit weak. It seems to start going around the 25,000 miles upward mark. Mine has started to stick on its way up, so it's becoming a forthcoming issue, and it's quite an expensive fix, especially if the flywheel also needs to be done. I've been quoted £860 for mine, or about £600 without the flywheel. It sounds quite nice, doesn't it? I've also had the seatbelt light error come up. My hair is fucking awful. Seatbelt error come up, which is just a loose wire underneath. It's actually behaving itself today, thankfully, for this video. Otherwise it does ding at you quite a bit. You never know. Might just be lucky at the moment. I think that's the main issues that I've picked up from my time is mainly those three. But everything else has pretty much been spot on. I've only had wear and tear until this time. So it's more than comfortable enough for everyday use. It's not bad MPG. However, repair bills can be a little high to subset the low monthly cost that you can get this car for, and the low price overall, to be fair. So just double check those things, make sure you get some warranty, maybe surface plans or whatnot, just secure yourself, and I think you should be pretty solid. Overall, it is a good car, especially for the money, and that seems to be what most MG products are at the moment, is they're good cars for the money, and you won't really ever feel bad for ever having one, especially now that they're getting better with every iteration they do. Apparently in the works there's going to be an electric version of this car, because MG, I think, are pretty much leaning for a full electric future sooner rather than later, a bit like Jaguar at the moment, which that one actually disappoints me, but needs must, I suppose. So if there's anything else you want to know, anything I missed, just comment and ask me questions, and I'll see what I can do. But cheap, affordable, really fun. But a few niggles, just let it down just a fair bit. But overall, really livable. And I know a lot of the people of the MG group really do like their MG3s, and they always tout having a load of fun, and I've had a load of fun too. So thank you very much for watching. Any questions, again, let me know, and I'll see you next time. Bye.